Yellowjackets Season 3 is equal parts insane, heartbreaking, and straight up horrifying. If you thought cannibalism was the peak of this show's darkness, think again. The wilderness has officially taken over, so let's talk about the trauma, survival, and the secrets. Before I dive in, make sure to hit like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Now I'll break it down into different storylines. I'll start with the teen storyline and break it down by character. And we can start with Shauna, who is just extremely unlikable in this season. Like, I know she's been through a lot. She lost a baby. She lost her best friend and ate both of them. I don't know if she ate the baby. She's just extremely unlikable. And I understand I'm a guy, and this sounds misogynist maybe, but even my wife was saying that she hates Shauna after this season. And it is like Joffrey levels of hatred towards her, like Joffrey from Game of Thrones. She seems to be unraveling, but also embracing the wilderness. And her ruthlessness has caused her to almost be the leader of the group now. And at the end of the season, she is the Antler Queen. They do have an opportunity to escape, and she keeps them there along with Taissa and Lottie. And one of the major beats of the season was her relationship with Melissa, which flows into the current day storyline. But yeah, Shauna's kind of a piece of shit this season. I'm sorry. I know she's been through a lot, but come on now. You have Lottie from the teen storyline, which she has fully embraced the wilderness. She's actually eating a guy's brains in this season. Her and a few others have visions, and that's this show's way of questioning if what they're experiencing is supernatural or is it part of their environment. And the show keeps going back and forth. Like, you hear the creepy growls at night and you actually see it's frogs. So personally, I hope they keep it supernatural and almost questioning it, because they seem to dismiss it, but then they bring up something else that could be supernatural. As for Lottie, she hasn't really changed from previous seasons. She's still the kind of soothsayer in a way like she was in the previous seasons. Natalie, she seems to be like the leader of another faction of the group who are wanting to escape. She is the good guy, which is a shame that her adult character died in the second season. But I think she's probably like the best character this season, especially when she's trying to protect the coach and then ultimately fails at it. And she finds out that Misty hid the box from the plane, which she both feels betrayed, but also gives them an opportunity to escape. And I think maybe looking back at previous seasons, it like fleshes out their relationship a little bit more, especially in the first season where Natalie wanted nothing to do with Misty in the adult timeline. And then there's Taissa, who seems to have the dark persona still taking over, because she's one of the three who wanted to stay there along with Shauna and Lottie. But even that's fractured, because they kind of had an interesting scene where Shauna tried to intimidate Taissa, but she wasn't happening. And then Shauna backed down, which you don't really see much in the show. And Misty, who seems to be a little bit more likable in both the teen storyline and the current day storyline. It seems like she's playing both sides of wanting to stay there or go back, but ultimately I think she wants to go back. And it seems crazy, like most of the people want to go back, but there's those three people that are keeping them there. And then there's Travis, who's the skeptic of it. He act like he was embracing like the visions and everything, but then he ultimately says it's bullshit. Where we can go back about the supernatural elements, where he takes that pit and puts a bunch of spikes in it to try to lead Lottie there to kill her, because Lottie's kind of keeping people there, manipulating everybody. Maybe she fully believes it, but then she steps over the pit, the covered pit, and doesn't fall through. But then later in the season, the last episode, we find out who the pit girl is, and she fell through it. So there's that, the other aspect of the supernatural element of this show. Then there's the adult timeline, and we'll start with Taissa, which she has this dark side to her where she's trying to protect Van, who's dying of cancer. So she feels like she needs to sacrifice somebody to save her. And I think her storyline's a little confusing. Like, you don't know if it's dark Taissa or the real Taissa. Is it supernatural or is it just a personality disorder? I don't know. But I think they could have made it a little bit more clear. These visions I find confusing with, is it controlling her, or is it just part of her consciousness that's like influencing her? I don't know. And Misty continuing to be probably my favorite adult in the show, where she seems psychotic in the first season, but she seems to be the one that's got a good grasp of everything. Figure out who murdered adult Lottie, being suspicious of Shauna, as she should be, and also just trying to protect the group, which was nice. And they don't take her seriously, especially Shauna's like blaming her for everything. And I kind of like the dynamic between her and Walter, who's played by Elijah Wood. I like Elijah Wood's character in this. And I found the Lottie stuff in the adult timeline okay. I liked that she was befriending Shauna's daughter, Callie. But I think they ran the course with her character, which is probably why she was killed this season. Last season, she had the whole cult thing, which was intriguing, but went nowhere, really. As I say now, I think season 2 is a little disappointing due to where everything went with the cult revelation of Lottie. Then you have adult Shauna, who's not quite as unlikable as the younger Shauna. Maybe because I just like Melanie Lynskey. But she is still a piece of shit, and it's coming out now. Her strained relationship with her husband and her daughter, who are finding out her true colors now. And it's been teased since the first season that this housewife Shauna is not the real Shauna. You're seeing who she is in the flashback storyline, which she's becoming just fucking evil. I'm looking forward to Shauna embracing her true identity in the next 2 seasons, which is supposed to be just 5 seasons, and seeing how Melanie Lynskey performs that. It just seems like with her character, some violence is simmering under the surface. I want to see that explode in the next season. Then you have Melissa, played by Hilary Swank, which looks nothing like her past self character. I was hoping they would get Anna Lee Ashford to play Melissa, because those 2 actresses look so much alike. But the adult Melissa storyline is intriguing, even though it's a cliffhanger, especially since she basically killed Van. Like, you think that Melissa is fully reformed, but you see that's not the case, where Van couldn't even bring herself to kill Melissa. Melissa killed Van anyway. And it's kind of sad to see Van go, but like I said, her storyline probably ran its course. She probably had to die, especially to give Taissa an interesting storyline going forward. Maybe the dark Taissa takes over, but I'm going to miss her character and the actress in this upcoming season. So of course, with any mystery box show, we have to discuss like the mystery of the wilderness and the lore, and I'm hoping that this isn't like any other mystery box show where it's going to be disappointing by the end. But they do run into some frog researchers who come across the group. And during the night, there's some growling and shit, and they're like dancing to it, but it's actually the frogs. The frogs make that noise. And it was fun to see Joel McHale in this. I was not expecting a cameo from him. But like I said earlier, Lottie stepping over that pit, not falling through. Lottie's visions, which have been explained. The man with no eyes with Taissa, still not explained, but could PTSD or something. Or even like the Red River in the past season. But they're still dangling the psychological with the supernatural horror, I believe. But I don't want everything explained to me, but I would like for them to keep some of the supernatural stuff to it. I don't want it to just be all psychological, or it's in their heads, or some explanation for everything. So basically the season leaves us with Natalie climbing that mountain and having contact with people who can rescue them, to Aerosmith's Living on the Edge, which I thought was a great ending. Much better than season 2's. The group is fractured, most of the people wanting to go home, and 3 of them wanting to live out their life in the wilderness. Ty and Misty are suspicious of Shauna, are like teaming up against her. Shauna is actually coming to the realization that she actually enjoyed her time in the wilderness, that she had fun hunting people and killing them and eating them. And also her daughter and her husband left her. So I'm hoping Shauna has like a huge shift in her character after this revelation. But overall, I liked this season. I thought it was a big improvement from season 2. which I found pretty disappointing. I know on Reddit people are still complaining about the show, how it sucks, how the dialogue's awful, but I'm still enjoying it. I think after the second season, I realized this isn't a AAA show. This isn't prestige HBO drama. It's still like a interesting premise of these dueling storylines, which, I mean, of course, the 1990s storyline is much more engaging than the adult storyline, but I think they made an improvement on the adult storyline this season. And what's even better is that I'm looking forward to season 4 of where all these storylines and where the characters are at. I just hope they don't just fumble it, but they're setting up some interesting things with Lottie saying Callie is basically her mother, Shauna, and that she's the true antler queen, and that Shauna might be jealous of her, and Shauna having this revelation and embracing that she actually liked being in the wilderness and hunting her classmates. So I'd give season 3 3.5 stars. I liked it. I'm sticking with the show. I just want to see how it ends. There's really no show like this on TV. I just find the premise of it just really fascinating, especially someone who loves horror.
You really are insane.
Secrets will be spilled.
But let me know what you thought of the third season of Yellowjackets. How does it hold up to the second and the first season? Do you think the show is still grounded in reality, or have we fully crossed into supernatural territory? What's your theory on the symbol? Make sure to hit like and subscribe. It really helps small channels like this, and I'll see you later. Bye.